Yes, please. So, all those people who are from seventh field, no people, I mean, any person from any religion, good. Every person, let me take here, every person despite his birthplace, every person, okay, born anywhere, every person from all over the world can be benefited by the use of Vedic astrology, because prediction can be done for anybody, everybody, despite his birthplace, nothing. Any place on the earth, if you are born, and if you want to get prediction of your life, about your future life, about your family members and this and that, if their time, birth, date of birth, place of birth are known, then you can have that kind of prediction, or you can be benefited. Every person from all over the world can be benefited by the Vedic astrology. And this I am just telling you. Okay, number of future, okay, or I mean foreigners who have accepted this, or their life was changed because of this prediction. I mean, I'm just talking about Sir Woodrow White. Let me talk about who is Sir Woodrow White. Because about this person, when I talk about Sir Woodrow White, this is Sir Woodrow White. Okay, this person is a children's story writer from UK, basically a Christian, basically, and this person is now no more. He is a children's stories writer, and he wrote a number of stories. But he has written down his autobiography, and in his autobiography, which is Confessions of an Optimist. This is Confessions of an Optimist. Confessions of an Optimist. This is his name of optimist. Confessions of an Optimist. This is the name of his book. Confessions of an Optimist. If you read this book, this is writing, autobiography of this person, Sir Woodrow White. He came to India in 1942. In 1942 he came to India, right? And he had written his autobiography, Confessions of an Optimist. And this, with the help of my student, because in Indian libraries this book is not available. As I have searched here, or I used to, I was a member of Delhi Public Library in those days, 2001 or 2000, right? 2000 and 2001. In those days, I was member of, for a number of years I have been member of Delhi Public Library, but in Delhi Public Library, I couldn't find this book. Then I just asked one of my students. He was basically NRI and staying in USA, in Texas state of USA. There was some Dallas city, Dallas, he was telling me that he was member of that Dallas city's library. Then he searched that book, this Sir Woodrow White's book, Confessions of an Optimist. This is Confessions of an Optimist. Confessions of an Optimist. It is his autobiography. In this autobiography, this person writes that whatever prediction one of the astrologers in India, in 1942, he didn't meet the astrologer. He gave his date of birth, time of birth, place of birth only to that astrologer, and he casted his horoscope, and after that he predicted about his life history. And in the same year in which that astrologer wrote down that in this year you will get this kind of event. For example, you will marry second time, your first wife will die in this particular year, and you will marry second time in this year. And that initially he was not believing, but when the event happened, after that he turned towards Indian astrology, and he just believed every event whatever was written to him by the astrologer, Indian astrologer, Kksharma or somebody from Bikaner states, right, from Rajasthan. So this person wrote down every activity, and after that this person has written his biography, Confessions of an Optimist. After that he says that he became optimistic about the future life. and he married second time, he got knighthood. Sir, he is known as Sir because he was given the, okay, what do you call, the award by the Queen of England, right? So he was awarded by the government of England. So knighthood he got in that particular year. So this was written by that astrologer, and he says that, my goodness, this thing has happened in my life in the same period. This is how predictive astrology of Indian astrology, Vedic astrology, is 100% true. Nobody can deny about this. But some people who are benefited even, they are not accepting this publicly. That is the point. For example, in India, a number of people, mostly politicians, they visit the astrologers, they got the predictions and whatever. Now, what is the fallacy of the astrologers? How fallacy of astrologers prediction can happen? There are a number of reasons of that. Let me just share some of the reasons of this. That whatever politician visited a suppose astrologer and he has given the data is not correct. Right? Data, whatever is given to the astrologer, he will cast your horoscope, and after that the person predicts, or the astrologer or we predict about the life history of that person, and this event will happen, this can happen, you can win the election or this and that, but the person suppose not wins, okay, then he blames the astrologer, that astrologer has what he committed a blunder and this and that. But point is that his data given, because most of the politicians, they are not so much educated people, or they are not having that kind of information. Their birth data is not correct, their date of birth is not correct sometimes, so the prediction can be wrong in that way. Some of them are very educated, I have seen, okay, but some of them are so much illiterate people. Mostly those illiterate people are not accepting those things, that whatever data we gave, that was not correct and this and that. But some of them are very intelligent person, and they just accept all those things. But most of them are not accepting the predictions of their life, that this prediction of the astrologer is 100% true in my life, has happened. Because of that, I just got this kind of information, this kind of I became member of parliament or member of legislative assembly, MLA or MP or whatever, and I became minister in the same period as the astrologer predicted about my life. So, but they can't accept this, because the reason is, up to now the people were so much left-leaning people, journalists also, they were left-leaning journalists, some people, they are not accepting Indian astrology and this and that. They say that this is saffronization of the education. But saffronization of education cannot happen, my dear friend. This is 100% to science. If you are just studying, knowing about those events, you can also have the same kind of information about your life. Okay, so, and you can save yourself, you can study this. So nobody is going to challenge this. Super science it is, as I have seen, and most of the life history of number of people I have seen, they have accepted publicly. They have just in front of me, most of the people, they accept that yes, 100% true, whatever you have predicted about me, about my life and this and that. So but some of them are so falsely people. They are not so much literate people. They are illiterate people I have seen. They are not accepting these kind of activities in their life, but most of them are accepting. So anyone can be benefited with the help of astrology. Vedic astrology can have influence all over the world. Any person from any part of the country, any part of the world can visit astrologer. If his date of birth, time, birthplace of birth are 100% true, then prediction about his life are 100% true. Nobody can deny about this. If data are not correct, then it may be false, right? So the false event can be predicted if the person's data are not correct. That can be there. And then there are a number of politicians, for example. Suppose 2 politicians or 3 politicians are having the same election. Say they are fighting for the same election, right? MLA or MP, whatever the election time is there. But one politician comes to the astrologer, but other leaders' horoscopes are not with the astrologer. But whatever the present time is running for that leader, he can predict according to that present time, right? Or whatever the birth horoscope is there. According to those time period and this and that, those 3 things required: strength of the planets in the horoscope, time period running, and the planets motion at the moment. These 3 things matching, the person's horoscope is not so stronger as that of the other politician. But that other politician has not visited. So in comparison to if all the politicians' horoscopes are available with us, then we can compare them, then we can say with 100% certainty this person will win. Okay, and if we are just seeing that this particular politician is having a stronger horoscope, or the period is running at very appropriate period of time is just given to that is very much appropriate one, or most auspicious period is running for this particular person, then he can win this election, or he will be a leader in this election. So this is how a prediction can be done easily. Okay, so but there are certain events which are 100% true happening in the life, despite whatever number of people are running and this and that about your life, about your history, about your present, past and future. Everything can be predicted. So Vedic astrology is a must for everyone. Nobody can deny about the influence upon his life or her life if the person is have that kind of influence upon his life. But for that study is required. So much study is required. We cannot say that 2 years study, 3 years study can give you mastery over the predictive astrology. No. First of all, astronomical, mathematical, or Ganit Jyotish, right? Then Phalit Jyotish, both are required. Both are must. First you have to study about what is astronomical prediction, astronomical forming or casting of the horoscopes, and after that you have to know about what is influence of those planets upon the person's life. So that is Phalit Jyotish or predictive astrology. These two parts of the astrology one has to know about. Then natives horoscope, or this horary, or horary means the individual lives of a person's individual life. This astrology is important. And Vedic astrology, that is the mundane or mundane astrology. So mundane astrology is also there. Mundane astrology means political and all those activities which are happening on the earth at the moment, other away from our native. Okay, so native astrology, horary astrology, and then is command astrology, right, or mundane astrology we can say. So command astrology. So what is the Jyotish means? Influence of planets or constellations. Planets and constellations means nakshatras. What is the influence of nakshatras and planets? This is Jyotish means, or astrology means. Astrology, Vedic astrology is, we have to study the influence of the constellations means nakshatras and the planets upon a native. So these planets or constellations or nakshatras are having what kind of influence upon a native. These things are being studied in Jyotish or astrology. So Vedic astrology is giving us what is the influence of the planetary conjunctions in your horoscope, according to your horoscope, upon a native, upon you or upon other persons. So that is being studied in astrology. Vedic astrology is a part of Vedas because it's the 6th part of the Vedas. Okay, before that I'll just talk about in your Hindi version that what are those 6 parts of the Vedic astrology. Okay, I'll define them. This is the 7 parts we have taken. Every person can have predictive, the influence of this, or can be benefited with the help of astrology. Okay, so this is what 7th point I have taken here. Then if I take 8th, 9th, 10th, let me talk about those points also, right? So mostly we have taken that what is the Phalit Jyotish, Ganit Jyotish. For that the basic thing required is that we have to know what is the basic mathematics, right? Astrological something study. So 8th point is, let me take 7th we have taken. 8th is the parts of the astrology, of the Vedic astrology must be known to the person. The parts of the Vedic astrology. This is must known as Ganit Jyotish. Ganit or mathematical or astronomical, right? Jyotish, Ganit Jyotish. This is known as Jyotish, Ganit Jyotish, right? Second part, and the second part of this is Phalit Jyotish. Phalit Jyotish. Phalit Jyotish, that means predictive astrology. This is known as predictive. These two portions one has to know about. Predictive astrology. Jyotish means astrology, right? So predictive astrology. These two parts are in Vedic astrology. So Vedic astrology is having influence of, one must have knowledge of both these things. And these are the planetary conjunctions and all those things, how they are influencing the person or native. Then mathematical portion is must, because without mathematics, as it is said, that just like a dry well, from the dry well you cannot draw water because water is not there. Similarly, the influence or the predictive portion cannot be taken out from the astrology if you are not having mathematical this Ganit Jyotish or Ganit Jyotish. This is known as Shahintash, okay, like Shur Siddhant for Siddhant, Shur Siddhant, etc. Shur Siddhant is Ganit Jyotish. From that we study about how the planetary conjunctions are being calculated. What is the position of the ascendant, etc., etc. Okay, or birth horoscopes are how they are framed. This is Ganit Jyotish. So Ganit Jyotish and Phalit Jyotish, these two parts of the astrology are there. But in Western astrology we are having only one Jyotish, which is Ganit Jyotish. That I have already, I think, taken in the first part. These things are known to be known. Then we have to understand the different parts. There are different other techniques of Vedic astrology. Astak Varga, for example, Astak Varga. Okay, so with the help of this also, Astak Varga and Gemini astrology is also there. There are different techniques of this. Gemini astrology. Gemini techniques also, Gemini astrology, etc. All these different techniques of this, you know, different techniques of Vedic astrology. We have to know different techniques of prediction. Different techniques of prediction are there. Astak Varga, okay, Gemini astrology, etc. So all these things are just, you know, empowering the person in case of prediction astrology. Then 10th one, let me take. 10th one is that what is the then conjunction of the planets. Conjunction and or the conjunction of the planets. Conjunction of planets and their positions and their exaltation, combustion, etc. Or the conjunction of the planets and their power being exalted. What is the exaltation sign or the degree and which exaltation and combustion? When the planet is combusted and combustion. When the planet is combusted, being exalted at what degree? So all those things, this mathematical portion in which we study about the conjunction of the planets. We have to know about how the combination or conjunction of the planets is there, how that is going to influence, the influence of all these things we have to study about. Different yogas, this is known as yogas or conjunctions. Yoga means combination. So combination of planets, we have to understand that what is there. All these things are being discussed, but in case of Western astrology, we cannot have these combinations, how they are being influenced, what is going to the prediction based on these conjunctions. Conjunction is also very important. Yoga, they are not different. Yoga system or yoga.